Yeah. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, how's it going? Oh, you know what I need? Discord me the our little disclaimer.
Oh yeah.
I'm sharing the screen. Today.
Yep. Let me get that pulled up real quick.
Basically, it says everything we say here is just a bunch of dumb people talking, so don't take our advice and buy things and then say, hey, we told you to buy it. Because all we're doing here is just saying, hey, this is cool, to fun, and we're just checking some stuff out, educational purposes only. So
we're just having fun.
We're just having fun. It's a good day. There's lots of green in the market all the way around. It's fun.
Yes, sir.
So, did you send it to me?
I did.
Oh.
All the secrets.
Big time. Yep. You guys are looking at it. That's our wallet. So you can see everything.
You can send us funds for big time.
It'll look better next time.
Yeah.
Anyways, as we move forward, again, not financial advice, just having fun, educational purposes. It's a good day. Everything's green. Everything's looking positive. We just kind of want to go over again the state of the market and see what's happening. We talked last week a little bit about the FOMC meetings, the CPI, that type of stuff, and all that stuff's still relevant. And I think when we look at what we're seeing is a little bit of relief in the market because we don't have another meeting. I mean, we'll get the numbers out here in a few days. I think on the 12th.
Yep, CPI on the 12th.
CPI on the 12th, and if we look at the trend of numbers themselves with the CPI, they're trending down, which is good. Meaning all the interest rate hikes are doing what they're supposed to do, which makes people excited. I won't talk about the bad things yet. So. It's all good. Let's talk about green stuff, right? So,
I mean, I believe they were estimating off a report I saw. They were estimating, hoping for December inflation rates to be around 5%.
Damn, that'd be a big.
Which, I mean, it's at 5.7.
That's with CPI.
I believe so. That was
true inflation.
Yeah, that's CPI, not trueflation.
Okay, that's interesting because trueflation is
it's about 5.7 right now, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, so 5.74. The bad part about trueflation is we're seeing it level out a little bit, right? So I'm a chart guy. Obviously, I like to look and see trends. What we're seeing is a little bit more of the flattening here, not the downward trend that we've seen in a long time, but overall CPI's got to catch up to that, right? So I mean, 5 would kind of make sense if it's more of a laggard, which is kind of what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, and I think that's kind of what is happening right now. Overall, is we kind of got through the end of the year. We got through a lot of the people selling stuff to get, harvest loss for the year, regardless whether it's legacy or crypto. And things are so oversold that it's due for a bounce. There needs to be more liquidity in the market if we're going to see, people be able to get out. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
Good news with, all the interest rates going down. That's what we want to see. If things are going to go the right way, and we still have the big looming real estate
housing bubble
potentially there. We should get on. We should get AJ on.
That'd be a good one.
We should just do a full-on real estate.
Overview.
Him and Chris, get him in here.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be a good one.
That would be a good one.
I'll set that up. That'll be great because I think, I talk to these guys. I'm not the real estate guru at all, but I talk to these guys, and they're the ones that tell me the stuff they're seeing on real estate side, in what building wise, where the materials, how far out is everything, and it's not good news, and the high interest rates are not good for real estate overall. So, and we really haven't seen a downward trend in the real estate market, depending on the area you're in, obviously. But again, I'm going to leave that to the professionals. I'll bring them in another time.
Yep.
And they'll talk some good stuff maybe here in the next week or two. That'll be a good one. But I think that's what we're seeing here. Realistically, kind kind of a curving. There was high volatility in this range back in 2020. After the big bounce up, and we've kind of hit that same zone. If we can move back through it and recapture this, and change the trend a little bit, I think we can get some decent momentum.
Yeah.
Especially with such a bad year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Low liquidity on the sells. There's just not as much sell volume because we've been pushed down so low in all the markets that it's due for a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's going to all-time highs, but at least a bounce up and and sideways for the year.
Yep.
Would be kind of nice.
Well, and hopefully, as we look into it more, if we see these legacy markets start to bounce a little bit, we can follow that with the crypto markets, hopefully, and keep riding that wave, which we've seen over the past, week or so has been pretty nuts.
I know everybody's probably wanting to see Gala, which we'll get to. Gala had a good run. It was fun. It was good. But for me, I'm looking at ETH. I love Bitcoin, so don't get me wrong. But when I'm looking to make more on my money, ETH is where I'm at probably for this run as well. I was last run, but I think Bitcoin's going to have its day. It'll definitely, it's definitely part of the ecosystem.
Yep.
ETH is looking really nice for a move up, and if we can break this, funky looking potential bear flag,
yep, to
the upside, that would be great. Recapture this trend line to move up. Volume is solid too. This huge volume right here is, when we look at that, we call it liquidation volume, right? Well, this was the first downtrend. Well, this was the FTX, all the FTX stuff. So, again, we still have, GBTC,
yep,
and Genesis, and that whole debacle that's going on there. But
it's looking better.
I mean, so there's correlation, right? So GBTC is
correlation and causation are different things.
Yes, they definitely are. But there's the correlation between Bitcoin and GBTC has been an inverse for a while. In the NAV has been going negative,
yep,
right? And I think it was at 47 the last time we looked at it. It's in GBTC. Let me pull it up. Is it's up 12% today, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, right? And especially since it's been down so much. But when you look at the fact that it's been depressed so much more compared to Bitcoin over the time frame, this to me, although now I look at why this keeps going here, go away. I don't want to show this news because
liquidity is low, or volume's low.
Volume's low, right? So the volume's super low. I am on the weekly. Sorry, that's my bad. So daily volume, I mean, it's a decent daily volume. I'd like to see it, a little bit higher, much like we did in this, the 17th, the 20th in November last year, a little bit higher to kind of move that up. But we've cleared some of this resistance.
Yep.
In this lower time frame. Does that mean there's some people that know, GBTC is going to be fine? They have all their assets with Coinbase. There's no issue. There's no, whatever that's going on there. I know, is it DCG or is it Genesis? I can't remember.
Genesis.
Genesis is potentially going to be filing bankruptcy. I think it's really on that end. We're seeing a lot of things come out about them manipulating the market with Alameda and
holding things on their books that they don't have, right? And they're over leveraging these super volatile assets that they then can't call back on to pay out their consumers to any degree.
Right. And so the question would be though, so if that does come out and we see them file bankruptcy and it's a whole nother clientele base that can't get their money.
Yep.
Is it going to be as big as the FTX one, or has everybody kind of already, come to the realization that, they're not getting their money from Genesis or FTX, and that's kind of the last big shoe to fall in the crypto world?
Well, and I think coupling with that too, especially we're expected in the first half of this year to see some sort of ruling on the Ripple SEC debacle, and so I wonder if there will be some sort of additional regulation coming in 2023 as a result of that case.
Yeah, that thing's been sitting out there
2 years, 3 years,
20 years. I think Ripple came before Bitcoin, and then the lawsuit was like soon after.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It just seems like forever on that, but we're supposed to.
Yeah. So, it's like one of those things. Is this just the last event of getting the bad players out of the market to a degree, right?
Maybe. Does it set a precedence?
Yeah. Does this consolidate people to Bitcoin or to Coinbase and Kraken and these other exchanges we've seen that,
Look, if it doesn't consolidate them to off chain or out of the CEXs, CEX, out of the CEXs.
Hold your own keys, hold your own coins.
Not your keys, not your coins. Use them for trading. If you need liquidity, you need to take money out. That's what they're there for. But don't hold your coins there.
Yeah.
Take responsibility of your stuff. And this is a huge, for everybody that's here now, it's a good learning side. Like, okay, don't hold them on exchanges, because guess what? Celsius, that whole ruling on Celsius just came out and showed them like, oh, by the way, all of the client's money belongs to Celsius, not to the client. Like, how in the literal hell does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't.
Not at all. Like, so again, the government's telling you that even if you have your money on there and they have insurance in case something gets hacked, well, guess what? If it's their fault, you don't get your money back.
Yeah.
Hold your own coins, people. And if you need to, go to the Fortune Crypto Medium, the website. We got all the articles on there, reviewing a bunch of hardware wallets. And, we talk about, how, you can hold your own token, or your own coins on your wallets and secure them. It's your responsibility. Take it.
We have videos of, how to make a MetaMask account, what it means to store your private keys, what your private keys are. So, there's a lot of information out there, and not just from us on the other side too. There's a lot of information out there just about how to be secure in the space. And
100%.
That's what we're trying to bring.
Yeah. We got, and so, I don't know, it's an interesting move up with GBTC. Is it just a short-term play by traders that are trying to capture some low liquidity in that zone potentially?
The big news with them, right, wasn't it? They weren't holding their own Bitcoin.
Yeah, Coinbase.
Coinbase was holding it. And it was, okay, does Coinbase actually have this or not?
Right. And there's never been and we talked about this last time.
No audit.
There shouldn't be any issues with showing that you have these assets. If you have those assets.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's all on chain. Like, yep, here's our assets.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody showed Coinbase wallets showing plenty of, assets to cover all that. So whether it's there or not, we haven't seen the actual numbers. So maybe there's some insider information on that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's pumping a little bit more than Bitcoin, because again, when we say it's trading at negative. So if Bitcoin is currently at 17.25, right? So the correlated price would be about $17.25 for GBTC. So you can, it's not going to be exact, but it's going to be close to this. When you look at, it's another 70% to get up to that point in time.
Yeah.
And if you look at, the correlation of, what's that negative NAV, minus 44%. So that's about right.
Yeah.
And is it going to move to cover that gap? No, this is something that a lot of people were looking at as one of the best trades is, trading that negative NAV.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were hoping on that to go to legacy. They wanted to change GBTC into can't think of the word. I'm losing it. ETF.
Oh yeah, ETF. Yeah, that's right.
A Bitcoin ETF, a spot Bitcoin ETF, because we have a non-spot ETFs right now, and so taking GBTC and putting it to an ETF would basically take that price of that stock, turn it into an ETF. I don't know how they would convert that, but the difference would be automatically made up because you have to have that price be correlated to the exact price of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And so that negative NAV, maybe there's some information on that. Maybe they're not going to make it into an ETF. That'd be weird. I don't think they will until you see any of this stuff clear up so far.
When it's like, I think the only real, weren't we kind of talking about this the other day? The only real benefit to it becoming an ETF would be, it's a little bit easier for legacy investors to wrap their head around entering that sort of market, right?
Oh, 100%. Like, it's okay. I want to be exposed to Bitcoin.
It gives the mom and pops an easier. If they're already in an ETF, they're like, oh, sweet, I already know how this works.
Well, and they were happy because they bought GBTC and it was trading at, and it went up and it was plus 30, plus 40%, right? So it was the opposite. And those people were super happy. Well, if they didn't get out, which most of those people don't because they're long-term holders, now they reverse that entire thing and they're sitting, at negative 44.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense why we don't have a spot ETF. It's a big deal if it does come through.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice. It just gives a lot more access to people. So.
And I think that's, an onboarding event we kind of need to see, is there needs to be some sort of like industry-led, big market players making those. Because right now it's, all the people trying to onboard people to crypto they're not huge big time players.
No, and everybody's scared now.
Well, because they've been scammed. They've been screwed over. I mean, you have to have a legitimate company that you have trust in be the first to really initiate it.
It's bear market stuff, and people don't want to jump in. Don't want to be the first one to jump in. So, this is Bitcoin. Just looking at its chart as well. It just looks making steps down. If we can get this little curve up and actually recapture, the majority of last year's sideways, basically, if you look from May or June, I guess, until November, before the FTX hit to go down, and recapture that and move that, I think that's a really good sign for, at minimum, a bottom for a decent time frame.
Yep.
And I'm just call it now.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, I'd probably call that as being the actual bottom. I'm not going to see. We wouldn't see a 14 or 12K going that route. There's so many people calling for that after the FTX. FTX was one of the biggest things to happen to crypto, to just rattle cages.
Yes.
And the fact that I say crypto, the funny part is it's not even a crypto thing, as in it was a legacy.
Yeah, it was a centralized exchange to a degree. I mean,
100%. It's not crypto. Bitcoin didn't fail. Crypto didn't fail.
Nothing in crypto failed.
The legacy side failed. Like the regulation side failed to keep you safe and your money safe.
Well, it's like the traditional models. What if they failed? But I mean, it was accounting fraud. It was, and that's traditional. That's not crypto. I mean, they were using, I think, QuickBooks Online as their main. A multi-billion-dollar company should not be using QuickBooks. I love it, but it's not.
Hey,
I guess.
I mean, I guess it's easier to hide it. I don't know.
But
for me, this would be great to recapture some of these lows, and see this sentiment kind of turn. And there's just before this weekend, it was such bad sentiment.
Yeah.
There was in one of the discords, I think it was Faz's Discord. There was started to pump, and one of the guys in there, I won't call names out, but they were, they're like, oh, just wait, it's going sub a penny, and there was a bet that went on with another person within there, which is interesting. Like, look, before last week, Gala could have easily gone to sub a penny.
Yeah.
But they came out with a ton of news, man. They were
some big news.
Yeah, and I think in our market update, I think it definitely calls for some attention, because for me, I've been around the Gala ecosystem for a long time, early 2020. Knew about it before then. And, the vision of what Gala was supposed to be as a Web3 company, a Web3 blockchain gaming company, putting the power of, the assets into the owner's hands, the people that own those assets, into the game developers' hands, so they can make decisions and be empowered by Web3 and blockchain. That was the overall ethos when they started. And that's what they went down. And the founders' nodes were they were the center of this entire ecosystem.
Yep.
They were going to be the ones that ran it all, and provided the backbone to that entire ecosystem. And, 2021 came around and everything went crazy. And I think there was a lot of the site picture got changed, and they moved away from some of those. Like, they created town nodes, spider tank nodes, music nodes, film nodes.
Yeah.
All these different nodes to run this stuff, which understandably, if it was needed, great. But there wasn't really a roadmap that was there. And
they just spread value. I mean, they just devalued everyone's quote unquote, not an investment, but contribution to the ecosystem. I mean, your founder's node is now devalued because that value has been spread across 15,000 other nodes.
And they devalued it across that, and they took away the founder's node, like the value of it. And So that was a big one. And then, focusing on all these other projects, so many different projects that were not game centric. Like when I first got, it was games.
Yep.
Right.
Gala Games.
And I think that just, pushed away a lot of the focus and the site picture that was there in the beginning. And I think with a lot of the announcements that came out, I can just pull it up in here because there was a ton.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Maybe. But with a lot of the announcements that came out, they talked about, let's see, Founders Notes are now going to be the center of the universe for Gala again.
Yep.
Gala has a potential burn mechanism that's going to be coming into play. And I put that in quotations because it seems more like of a recycling. It's fine, whatever terminology you want to do what it is. That's going to benefit the Founders Notes. And that comes from all the in-store purchases in Gala. We'll go into that burn recycling mechanism. Film, music, they're going to use Gala as their token. All games and coming in the future are going to use Gala as their utility token. That's a huge boost for Gala. The big news, though, last week was they bought a mobile gaming company. That has approximately 20 million users. We don't know what that company is, so we can't verify any of that. Approximately 20 million users, 15 games, and 7 of those games are active and live, and the other 8 can potentially come back and be put into play. Now, this is something that hasn't been talked about on there, but the mobile side with, Gala's games is huge.
Oh my gosh.
This has been talked about forever, and I'll go back to 2020 when it was called Fortified at the time, which was a tower defense game. And I literally put it in the Discord back then. I was like, if you bring a tower defense game, I'm going to spend all my money on it because, it's just one of those time suck games.
Oh, I played Balloons Tower Defense. So I've spent tens, probably hundreds of hours.
But it has to be mobile.
Has to be. Oh, I only played it on my phone.
I'm not going to take my laptop in the shitter.
Worst case scenario, I played it on my iPad.
That's still mobile.
But that's mobile, right?
Mobile,
I mean, it's like,
right?
it's.
Yeah. Can you set it on the back of the toilet when you're done? Then that's mobile. Okay?
Exactly.
I guess it's a little laptop. But anyways, I digress. So mobile is huge. Spider Tanks is built for mobile. That game should be mobile, right?
Townstar.
And this is, I'm hoping, this is me projecting pure speculation, that the new Townstar release is going to be mobile. And I think Town Crush is going to be either right before it or soon after. 2 games that Town Crush is going to get a boatload of players. Townstar is going to get a boatload of players. There's already, people that love that game, and there's a whole ecosystem around it. But it needs to be mobile as well. It's a mobile game, 100% mobile game. And I think with the acquisition of this mobile company, and what we're not talking about is this is on the heels of Apple's decision.
Yes.
Right?
Well, because of their information with the EU. So for those that might not know, Apple is, or in the EU, starting at the beginning of this year, there's going to be third-party marketplaces. Basically, instead of just the App Store on iOS, other companies are going to be able to initiate their own app stores. Because the big problem right now is Apple takes 30% off the top of all microtransactions or anything purchased in-game.
Right.
And, that's a big issue when you look at the NFT asset ownership side of things, because that means everything's going to be overpriced by 30%.
Yep.
Because that's what Apple's taking off the top, and Gala still wants their cut. But the fact that in the EU now people are going to be able to circumnavigate that through other app stores, that's really big. And I think seeing how that not only works, but seeing how they potentially start to integrate that outside of the EU, I'm hoping, it might be a little bit harder for the US for that, since Apple is a US company. They have a little bit more leverage, with lobbying and everything.
Of course.
But, it's big news. And I mean, I think on the Android, Google Play side of things, it's not an issue. And most people have Android devices.
Yep.
As big as we think Apple is in the grand scheme of the world, it's not.
I think what's the ratio?
That's a good.
Let's look that up. I think regardless of what you look at, Apple's a big player, right? So if we go Apple
Android is about 71%.
Damn. Okay. That's big.
Well, because I mean, there's a million phones.
Right.
I mean, it's anything that's not iOS runs Android.
Yes.
So it's one or the other. But I think it is big just to see that, and Apple has come out and said that they are down to work with the NFT marketplace, and they're willing to work. Originally, they were like, we're not.
Right.
There's same thing with like Steam, and it was that same type of thing where they're like, we're not having any blockchain, no Web3, we don't want to deal with it.
Right.
But now they're starting to integrate it in their own slow ways, probably because they have their own platforms built for it that they're going to be releasing. It's only a matter of time before we see Apple NFTs. But yeah, I think that is a big news, seeing that, in the mobile space, it's 50% of all gamers.
Yeah, and I think that was, when you look at this move for Gala, is a lot of that was news driven, right? I mean, and they made a point of it. They were posting that stuff and pushing it out there in their Discord. It's not like they went on public, publications like a newspaper or anything like that. But they were posting in their Discord, lots of good information, and it's all good for the company. I think it's good for the people that are, invested in it and have put time and money into, whether it's a game or a node ecosystem or just a part of the community. I think that a lot of stuff that they're putting out there puts that first. Puts the community first. It puts those people that were a part of it in the beginning and the people that want to be at the backbone of it, the node ecosystem, as that center part. And it's big. It got me really excited and motivated to kind of, see what we're going to do, because they got a lot of cool ass games, man. They got a lot of cool ass games coming, and get that on mobile. The other one's the Legends Reborn. That's a mobile game. That's
only Champions Arena, Legends Reborn. Those are both built for mobile. I mean, it's that same. I mean, Pokemon is kind of a Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh, that like card trading. It's interesting and it's addicting.
So when we look at that, obviously Gala had a big move from, like, obviously the bottom of where it was at to the very tippy top is a 230% move in a week, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot to handle in one time frame. It's sitting 170% up from that point in time. This is crypto. It could just keep going forever.
Yeah,
we know how that goes. But in reality, like, what are we going to see for a retrace? Because it's got to take some liquidity off the table. And when we look at like the legacy markets that are moving right now, between anything else, it's moving down. And so there is correlation.
Yep.
Obviously with the legacy markets and crypto. And so for me, I hold Gala. I have Gala, and I trade as well. But if I were looking to get in, I would wait and see for some sort of retrace and not try to catch these big green candles, because you're going to get angry if you buy in at 4.7 cents and it goes back down to 2.8, and then you might get so angry you sell it and then you lose money. So wait for the red candles, wait for the retraces, and then because if you're excited for what they're going to do, that's when you want to get in, and watch something like this happen, right? Look for the lower time frames, 3 cents, high twos, somewhere in that range. If I were going to do that, that's what I would do.
Yep.
Now, one thing that you want to look at is you got a few tokens in the ecosystem. You have Town, Silk, Ethereum. Town and Ethereum are traded on exchanges. I think Ethereum's on the exchanges.
I believe it is. Let's see.
I can look at it too. Look at Bonk. I own no Bonk.
It's not had a good day.
What, Bonk?
Yeah.
It's down, but it's up like a gajillion.
Yeah,
from earlier on.
Some spam token.
Dude, it's the token of the people on Solana, bro. It's the dog token on Solana. It's the Doge of Solana.
Okay.
How dare you?
How dare I question its utility?
How dare you question that scam token? Token of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I'm at BitTrue, Mexi. Everything Gala brings out, BitTrue seems to be the first one to list it.
Yeah.
So it's got a couple exchanges. It's got some Uniswap, not a lot of liquidity, but we can see it's moving up versus Ethereum. It's up 20% versus Ethereum. Town, same thing. Town, the token itself is up 14% overall. And that was we talked about that earlier, is the correlation with Town and Gala 2. When it first came out, I think it was 2-to-1, like 2 Gala to 1 Town. And it quickly became inverse to that and ripped up to $2, and then the whole thing went crazy. And Town's been down. And if we do see Town start come out, which they're supposed to come out here in this month, I think.
Yeah, with a new earnings model. That's the biggest piece.
All the new competitions and how
the new capped circulating supply.
Yes, all that's supposed to come out this month, which is really exciting.
Yeah,
for a game that a lot of people like.
Yeah.
It's not my. I'll play it sometimes. It's not my favorite, but I'll definitely dabble in it. It's again one to watch, one to look for, because if that can come through, and the 560 million circulating Town coin right now, I think is what it is, or 650.
Or is that what? Yeah, and then they're trying to get to 100.
They want to get it to 100. So with the burn mechanisms in place and everything else, they want to get that down to 100 million.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. It's a good goal to push that deflationary supply.
You're trying to basically get rid of 80%.
Yeah. So I guess in wrapping up, how long are we going for?
Just about 30.
Perfect. We want to keep these a little shorter.
Yeah, 31.
Look, things are green. You can buy on the green candles if you want. I usually wait for red candles after some green, but that's just me. I want to see consistency.
Yeah,
I want to see some consolidation. This is Town, so you can see it's definitely got higher ranges, but it's a low liquidity coin, so it's going to have that. But we're looking at some, decent price consolidation in that range. So, do what you will with it.
Yeah,
I think we got some potential room for some more green over the next month or two, depending on what we see, especially if we come in at 5.
Yeah.
If CPI comes in at 5,
that'd be ridiculous.
That'd be pretty big. I think regardless.
I don't think it will.
Regardless of all the other things out there, I think that would make a pretty big pump in the market.
I could see 5.2 though, maybe. I could see
if it's 6, if it's mid 6 or down low 6 from 7.1 last month down to 6, that's a huge drop. I think that would be huge. If it hits 5, then it's game over.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, just watch it run.
Yeah,
just watch it run. Because then we have almost 2 weeks until the FOMC meeting at the end of the month, where things are just going to go batshit crazy. Might slow down a bit because FOMC, they'll still raise rates.
Yeah, of course.
1/4 to 1/2%. I can't guarantee it, but I put money on it. And then even that might not slow it down enough. It might just be like, hey, what they're doing is working. Yay, let's keep it going. We see that happen.
Let's pump the economy.
Pump it even more into, tax season. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal because guess what? Everybody lost money.
Yeah, it's like everyone has massive losses. Unless you were really smart.
Yeah, there were some trades in there.
No, for sure.
There was some stuff there, but the majority of people overall.
ENS, Solana, they both had some nice, over the year, but
there's some pumps. But overall, if you're just holding and you maybe sold and took in those losses, there's a lot of people that took losses just because they could.
Yeah.
So in closing, just keep an eye on it. Man.
Yeah.
And if you have questions or whatnot, come to the Discord, the Fortune Crypto Discord. We've locked it down to people that only have an NFT. So if you want to get in and you want to be a part of the discussions we have going on, just shoot me a DM at Fortune Crypto or at BettyOrb99. Either one of us will get you hooked up with one of those NFTs, and we can get you into the Discord and be a part of the discussion. We'll be posting a lot more charts.
Yep.
Tokens that we're researching, as you can see, big times on our list. We should have a article coming out for that
next day or two.
Illuvium, they've got the play test going on for the landholder alphas. We'll have a nice article with that.
Unioverse is another cool one. They have some really cool artistic differentiations in the way that they're doing their NFT models and stuff that I think we're really going to see start being replicated across the entire industry as well. So we got some cool projects.
Yeah, man. So cool. We'll end it there. At Fortune Crypto on Twitter, Discord, wherever.
YouTube, Twitch.
Are you at BettyOrb99 too?
Yep.
On Discord?
Yep.
And Twitter?
Yep.
Good. Makes it easy. Betty Orb.
Come find me.
You're gonna have to tell that story, that name one day. But anyway.
I'll get into it.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take care.
Hey, take it easy, guys.